Hi, I'm Brandon from OnFair. We're one of the largest online retailers for car headrest DVD monitors. And so some people consider us the expert and ask us a ton of questions. Today I'm going to share with you how to install your car headrest DVD monitors to a car fuse box. Now this is a pretty common question because it's not the easiest part. Some might even consider it the most difficult part of installing their car headrest monitors. Okay, so we didn't want to pull a whole car into our video studio here. So what I've got here is what's called a fuse box. Now this is out of a Suburban, so it's a big fuse box. So what you need to do first is every vehicle's different. Go find the fuse box that kind of looks like this with a bunch of fuses on them, and they could be different sizes, in your vehicle. Find out. They could be under your front of your dash. Sometimes they're under the back seat. Sometimes there's multiple ones or even under the hood. So find your fuse box so that you know how far you're going to have to run the wires to the fuse box. Now here's what I always suggest. It's not too difficult to add a headrest monitor to your fuse box if you get the right parts. So if you have this kind of a fuse box, which includes little fuses that look like razor blades kind of, with two little razor blades on them, but they're not that sharp, this would be like a 10 amp fuse right here. If you've got a fuse box like that, this is what you want to get. It's called an add-a-fuse, and it's a wire with another fuse on it, but it has two places for two different fuses. And sometimes it comes in a box like this. And you can get these at the store really cheap. They're not too expensive. Go to your local automotive store, and you should be able to get what's called an add-a-fuse. Then all you do is you're going to want to select the right fuse to connect to. And there's two main choices, right? You can have a fuse that's always hot, which means that these headrests will stay on all the time, whether you turn your car on or off. So you'll have to power these with the power button on the remote or on the front of them to turn them on and off. Some people prefer that method. The other method is to find a fuse which would be switched. It's called switched, which means it'll turn off and on with your keys in your car. So when you turn your car on, the headrests are now receiving power. When you turn the car off, now the headrests are off. So that way you don't have them left on if the kids forget to turn them off and so forth. So you look at your usually a diagram next to your fuse panel, which will tell you which fuse goes to which part of the car and if it's switched or not. The other thing I would recommend is not to pick too busy of a fuse, like the windshield wipers, because it's possible that you might get noise through your headrest when you turn your wipers on and on. So just something to pay attention to. After you find your fuse box, what you're going to do is you're going to find, and you found the right fuse that you want to use, you'll use like a little clip to take the fuse out. And after you take the fuse out, you then will put that fuse back into your add-a-fuse so that it will again work for the same part that it was working on. For example, if this fuse went to the radio, you will then add a second fuse which will then be used for the headrests. So your add-a-fuse will have two fuses on it, and then that will go back into the fuse panel, kind of like this. And I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Now you've got a wire which can be used to connect to the headrest power wires, which the red wire right here, and you could connect both headrests up to this red wire if you would like to. In general, these headrest monitors usually will pull about 1.5 amps each. So if you connect both of them, you're now drawing 3 amps. But I'm not as worried about this fuse because they also have an inline fuse inside the box and so forth. So there's extra protection already designed for the headrests. You would connect the red wires to this red wire using like the crimp or some pliers to smash that together once you've got it in. And then the black wire goes to a ground, which doesn't have to be, around the fuse box. It could be the frame of the car, a metal part, a metal screw, somewhere where it's not painted if you can find, and you want a good tight connection because you want a good ground. So hopefully that will help for people who've never connected anything to the fuse box, have a better understanding of what it would take. Add-a-fuse is great at making it easy for you, and this is what they look like. All right, I'm Brandon with OnFair. Thank you very much.